I think we need to go back a little bit. And I think the Gaza deal was important to Trump, and he sees that as a major victory. He put pressure on Netanyahu because he was annoyed about the attack on Qatar by the Israelis a few weeks ago. And he put enormous pressure on Netanyahu to agree to some sort of peace deal in the Gaza war. And all the Arab states were supporting Trump. And that is what Netanyahu did. He did have no choice not to do so. And that, of course, led to at least a fragile ceasefire in the Gaza war. And that has emboldened Trump an awful lot. He believes he can now put pressure on Putin and obtain an end to the Ukraine war. And meeting with Zelenskyy in the Oval Office, and apparently before the meeting, we thought that he might offer him to deliver Tomahawk weapons, missiles to Ukraine, was on the table in order to put further pressure on Putin to agree to a peace deal. But Putin phoned up the day before the meeting with Zelenskyy and again seems to have persuaded Trump not to offer such Tomahawk missiles to Zelenskyy. So there was a bit of a U-turn in that meeting on Friday. But I think Trump still wants to put some sort of pressure on Putin, though not as much as delivering the Tomahawk weapons. And he still wants to go for a peace deal and put pressure on Putin that such a peace deal should be agreed to by Moscow. First, of course, walking away empty-handed from the Oval Office is not impressive for Zelenskyy. It may even be a little bit humiliating, but no one really expected that Zelenskyy and Trump would hit it off terribly well and that Trump would promise all sorts of things to Zelenskyy. We always had our doubt how successful Zelenskyy would be. Yes, it is humiliating, but it has happened before. It doesn't surprise anyone. So it doesn't really undermine Zelensky's position or weaken his position. It weakens Ukraine militarily by not obtaining these weapons. But in a psychological sense, I don't think it matters too much because we are used to that sort of outcome out of meetings in the Oval Office. I think the chances are not totally bad, but I don't think they're just round the corner either. Trump was emboldened by his victory in the Gaza war, by bringing, the war to an end, and he sees it as a personal victory. And I think he would like to repeat such a huge success in his eyes to the Ukraine war. So he will try to put a lot of pressure on Putin. On the other hand, there is something between Putin and Trump. Putin always seems to get his way with Trump. He always seems to be able to change to Trump's mind and really to make him much milder than his rhetoric seems to have indicated. So I wouldn't really hold my breath that that meeting in Budapest will lead to an end of the war. But the chances are there, and I think Trump can take these chances if he wants to. And it really depends whether he allows himself to be played once again by Putin or whether he really decides to be tough, as he was tough with Netanyahu.